Welcome back to Feather and Fur, your host, Brad Hurlebaus. And tonight we have on Cody and Jacob, Cody with Louisiana Cuisine. Welcome to the show, boys.
What's going on? Good to be back.
Yeah, it's excited to have you back. Talk on some of the different crazy stuff you guys do down south.
Well, right now we have crawfish season going on, so that's a big thing that plays a role for us.
I'm excited to talk about crawfish. That's just something that I've never taken part in. Like, I don't know if I've ever even eaten a crawfish, to be 100% honest. And I know you're out there catching them and selling them. So, like, I'm curious to know, like, the whole process, like how it works.
So, it's just like anything else. You start with, a trap and you put bait in it. You catch the crawfish, dump it into whether you have a hand, a hand boat where you're walking and pushing it, a push boat, or you actually have, one with the paddle wheel on it to get you going and where you need to go.
So we're talking if you're talking like a push boat, we're talking pretty shallow water here that you're.
Yeah. So it's there. So most crawfish are caught in rice fields.
Okay.
So
the same rice fields that you guys lease for duck hunting that you're doing the crawfish stuff in, or it's different?
No, so it's different. My Texas rice field farmers won't let me put crawfish in their rice farm like I want to.
Got
it. So these are freshly grown in Louisiana.
All right. So you're growing them in the rice fields and whatnot. It's not really farmed, but it's not wild either.
Right. Yeah. It's farming. You're farming crawfish.
All right. We'll call it farm. I didn't want to call it farming if it wasn't called farming. I was kind of thinking it was though.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't want to step on any toes and get like a local crawfish guy be like, "We ain't farming, we're growing."
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
You know how it is, man. Everyone's sensitive these days.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it.
But you also have, you do have wild caught crawfish as well. That they call basin crawfish, which are caught, in the basin, in the bayou, the basin, and
same those, aspect though.
Same aspect, different style trap. Instead of fishing in knee deep water, you're fishing in anywhere from knee deep water to you could be fishing 10-foot deep.
All right.
8 foot deep.
Same type of bait, different traps, but same bait overall, or is wild just? I think wild. I think that they're going to be a little harder to trap. It's going to be a little more work.
No, so you have to. Where your work comes in is when you're out in the wild doing it, you have to worry about all the critters coming and mess with your traps. Otters, gators. That's mainly otters and gators really mess with your stuff heavily. And then flood waters, waters too, water rising and falling, because the crawfish have to be able to climb up and get air. Otherwise, they ain't going to make it.
So makes sense.
They, but it's just like any other operation, like a cattle farm or chicken farm. You grow them up, you catch them, you throw back the little ones, or for instance, like the little ones, they're called peelers. I'll take them and I'll sell them to a lot of bass stock tanks around Texas. I'll sell them to some high end game ranches that have huge bass, and they want to treat their bass to bass candy.
Got it.
And I'll do the same thing with those peelers and sell them. I'll have people buy them to, they'll take it home and feed their fish at their house just to feed it, or they'll use them for bait sometimes.
So how big is like what size of like a peeler versus like the size of like a good size like eating crawfish?
So a peeler would be like a pinky.
Okay.
And then a good size eating crawfish really would be like a middle finger or a ring finger.
All right.
And of course, you got bigger than that. You get your large crawfish, which they're cooler and they're nicer, and it's a good show. You can show off with them, but they're harder to get the flavor into. So you got to cook them a little bit longer, let them soak longer. And also you have to, on these bigger ones, you get less meat. You're buying more of the shell and getting less meat. So
that makes sense. I can see that. I mean, the shell, like if everything grows like exponentially, you get that bigger crawfish. You're going to get a bigger shell, which is, and I'm assuming they're sold by weight, so you're paying for more shell then at that point.
Correct.
Makes sense.
You might, where, you might have a situation where you take 4 big crawfish and they equal a pound.
All
But
right.
you only have 4 pieces of meat to actually eat.
Sure. Makes
And
sense.
when we're talking, curled up, it's maybe like your pinky or a little bit smaller than your pinky. So we're not talking about a lot of meat.
Sure. And then, so you go out there, you push boats, you set your traps. How often are you checking your traps? Like you going out daily, hourly?
So you got guys that'll go out and they'll check their traps daily.
Okay.
Sometimes they'll check them, every several hours. They may run 2 times a day instead of 1 time a day. And then you got some guys that may run every other day. It just depends on who's running the operation and what farm or what fisherman it is.
Sure. So, I mean, so either once a day, twice a day, every other day, but you're not like setting traps, leaving them for a week and coming back, or I mean, you're.
Well, so in the farms you'll leave the same traps in the same field, and you'll just change the bait out. Yeah. So you'll run the trap, dump the trap onto your table where the crawfish go to sword, and then put the trap right back in and rebait it.
Got it. How big are these? Like, so what do these boats kind of look like then? I know you said one's got a paddle wheel, one you kind of push, and now you just said there's a table. Like, what size boats are we talking here? Are we talking like little 12-foot like flat bottoms, or like with a shelf on them basically? Or are we talking bigger boats? Or
well, so you got some guys that use airboats, use big airboats. You got other guys that use
heroes.
Let's see. I'd say the push boats are probably 4 foot long.
Okay.
4 foot long, and they have it's like a boat, but it's a picture like a John boat, but being empty, and then a handle coming back off the back of it to push.
Like a shopping cart. Looks like a little shopping cart. Sure. All right.
Then it has the apparatus on the back to hold the crawfish sacks, so you can pour your trap while you're walking. You can pour it on the tray, and then push it into the trap, or not into the trap, into the crawfish sack, and then tie it up, and then you set it down in the boat, and then once it's filled up.
Got it. So then at that point you're what, wearing hip waders most of the day, full on waders, and just pushing that boat around? And
hip waders, mostly hip waders.
All right. You got to worry about gators or anything in them farm ponds, or?
No, not in the rice fields.
No. I ain't from down there.
Right. That's true.
I mean, I think down south, I think a little bit of water, I'm like, there's gators there.
Especially, and then talking Louisiana, you just figure every puddle of water has gators. I get it. No, they're like, we'll go out there at night and go frog gigging when it's season, okay. And we'll go out there walking in the crawl ponds with, in our hip waders and go catch, a whole bunch of frogs, So that's also fun.
That's something I've never done either. I've heard about it, but I've never done nothing. So there's a video going around of a bunch of John boats with a bunch of lights going out, and I've been told it's a bunch of guys like frogs, like gigging season opened up. Have you guys seen that video? Can you confirm or deny said video?
I have not seen the video, but frog season should be opening up here soon if it already hasn't opened up.
So it's a bunch of John boats. It looks like they're like lined up on a dike, and all of a sudden, like, they all take off at the same time. They got a handful of lights on the front. Like, they look like miniature bow fishing rigs.
Yeah, I didn't see that. You're gonna have to send it over. I'm gonna have to check it out if you find it.
I've stumbled into it twice now, which means I'll probably see it a third or a fourth time. So when I do that, I'll send that over. And
I've seen the one where it's like that, but it's right before they go into the woods to go duck hunting in the morning.
I've seen those as well, but this was not for duck hunting. These weren't duck hunters, but I've seen those races in the morning for duck hunting. I've also seen that seems like quite a few states are changing that, where they're like letting people, like, they're staggering them now. Like I've seen a couple now, rather than having those big drag races, there's an officer there, like a game warden or something like that, and everybody lines up and nobody can go before a certain time, and he lets them go one at a time. And
yeah, it's getting dangerous. Getting too dangerous.
You got guys ripping through those trees, pushing people, or like you take a wake wrong and you go into a tree. And I mean, there's risk in everything, but it's dark out, it's cold, it's duck hunting.
Yeah, one of my best friends, Jared, he got chunked out of the boat in Arkansas.
That had to have been scary, because it's not like you got like most duck hunters aren't wearing life jackets. Let's be honest, not in boats.
Yeah,
exactly. Kayaks, I do. Like, I'll even, unless the river is raging or it is nasty outside, like, I normally don't wear one either in my big boat.
So he luckily did, only because he knew where he was, up there. So you know what you're getting into. So he played it safe, and it really did help him out.
Well, that's good. How hard was it to turn around and find him? Like was he in the water for a while?
I wasn't there. Right. I believe their whole boat flipped.
Yeah, there's a video. Of it.
There's a video of it somewhere. But I believe the boat flipped, and both the driver and my buddy got chunked out the boat.
I'm hoping someone stopped to help him.
They did.
Yeah.
But but here's the worst part. There were several boats that kept going.
That's terrible.
Instead of stopping and rendering aid to somebody in a in that type of situation, they were more worried about going to shoot mallard ducks.
You and your wife are thinking in January, right?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get down to that coast there in January.
I can get crawfish in January. We can do a crawfish boil.
Yeah. I've never had crawfish before. I mean, I'd be like, so what's a boil all about? Like, you hear about it, you hear about this stuff going, like, you hear about it, but I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, stainless steel pot, a lot of water boiling fish, but I'm sure there's more to it than that.
So I mean, it's more like a get together than anything,
Sure.
It's a big gathering, family gathering, friends. It's a big deal down here. So of course you get the pot, but and you cook the crawfish. You do what you got to do with that. But I mean, nowadays people are throwing everything in it. I mean, I've thrown ramen noodles in it. One of my favorite things to throw in it is raviolis. Cheese raviolis. Get a nice hot and spicy mix, and then cheese and spicy.
They do eggs, asparagus.
Yeah, they do. They're doing boiled eggs now.
All right.
Boiled eggs is a new one. Somebody did hot dogs.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that video yet.
Yeah. People do hot dogs.
Yeah. But pretty much anything that can soak up the juices or the flavored water, the seasoned water.
Sure.
So I mean, like sausage is, you get the cheaper the sausage, the better it is, because it soaks up better.
Interesting.
Whereas if I were to take like some deer sausage and throw it in there, it's so tightly packed in that casing, a lot of the seasoning that won't get into it.
All right.
Unless you cut it up, of course, right?
Sure.
I like to put it in there whole, and then I'll pull it out and cut it up and put it in its own little cooler. That way it's separated, so you can get what you want to get and don't have to hunt through 2 sacks of crawfish to find a piece of sausage.
Sure. That makes sense. And I could see that, like, you get really packed tight sausage, it's not easy for that liquid to penetrate, where if you get something that's not packed quite as tight, that skin loosens up once it gets hotter and warmer, and then you just get more. Yep. I can see that. I mean, it reminds me of the first time I made sausage and I didn't do a great job of, like, getting it real, like, that skin gets loose. I know what you mean. And that make more sense for something like that.
So
Yeah, yeah, we do in northern Wisconsin up on in Door County. They do what they call a fish boil, and it's whitefish is what it is.
a fish boil?
Yeah, so it's white fish, and they basically they don't they don't skin it, they don't debone it. They basically cut the head off and they gut it and cut the tail off, and then they boil it. Um, and then it's kind of like trout. It's pretty bony actually. But like in that, they also like throw corn in there. So there's corn that's cooking at the same time with the fish, and taters are in there, and it's just a big, it's a giant pot. Like people are like over a fire, and like it's a big thing up there, and like people sit around it like outside. Like 20, 30 people will fit around like this fire ring, and they're cooking all that food for like 30, 40, 50 people. And like at the end, like they could boil it over. So they throw like oil in it to make it boil over to like boil off. It's this whole thing. But I'll be
Man,
honest.
that sounds cool.
Yeah, I think
It's
you were telling me that when I came up there to visit over the winter. I think you were telling me that.
it's definitely worth going. Like I eat fish. I enjoy fish. Like don't get me wrong. But that white fish is pretty bland. And then when you
Yeah.
cook it, like by just boiling it, like they throw like an insane amount of salt in there and all that. But like
Do,
the experience was awesome.
do
The
they at least
fish,
throw like Old Bay in there or something?
they dumped like a whole bunch of salt in there. I'm sure there's other seasoning as well, but like the fish came out just bland. Like it needed like I needed some Old Bay at the table or like some lemon pepper or something to put on it after it came out is what I needed.
Some what Frank's Red Hot and some lemon pepper.
Yeah. But the experience was super fun. Like it was like a bunch of random people, like because it was my wife and I, and there's probably 50 or 60 other people there. You're all sitting around this fire, and the guy's talking, and he's throwing all the food in there, and it's boiling, and like throws like a ton of salt, all this other stuff, and then they boil it off at the end. So they put that like oil in there, and like it just like kind of volcanoes out, and yeah, it was cool.
So the crawfish boil is very similar to that, except we don't do the boil out thing at the end,
Sure.
And then and I mean our pots are your standard pot, is a 80, 100 quart pot,
All right.
and you can fit a sack to a sack and a half in it. Crawfish sacks are 30 to 40 pounds.
30 to 40 pounds in their shell, I'm assuming, right? And then you cook them in their shell, and then you.
Yep. It's just like going to the steakhouse and telling them you want an 8-ounce steak, and they bring it to you, and if you take a scale, it's not going to be 8 ounces.
Right. I get it. So everything's cooked up, good to go. Like, how hard is it to get that meat out of the shell? Are we talking like lobster, like crab hard here, or lobster hard? Like,
I wouldn't even really compare it
neither.
to those two.
You can't. I mean, it's not too hard because like my 10-year-old daughter can do crawfish all on her own, no problem. So, I mean, I wish I had cooked crawfish right now to show you how to do it.
So there is a trick to getting it out, but it's not like crab where you can get all frustrated because it feels like you're burning more calories than you're taking in, cracking all these bones and trying to rip all this meat apart.
Right. So basically, let's see, because it's gonna be backwards. Okay. So pretend I'm pinching a crawfish. Okay.
All right.
Here's the crawfish. Okay. And then you would twist and pull, and now you'd have the tail meat with the shell on it, and then just the head. Okay. Then, if you're professional, you suck the head. So you go suck the head. Then you can set it down, and then you take the tail meat, pinch it at the base of it, and bite it with your teeth, and it should just come right out with ease.
All right.
As long as whoever cooks it right or doesn't overcook it,
So you can undercook it, and you can also overcook it.
Yep.
Yes.
You can overcook it, undercook it. You can have it cooked good, and it still be hard to get out, and you can have it cooked bad, and it come out easy. It all just depends on the ingredients and that you're using, and the cook time, and the soak time, and the temperature.
Got it.
The temperature plays a big part.
So soak time, you're soaking it before you cook it then?
No, so the soak time, so I'll cook it first. So I'll boil
Okay.
it. Let's say I boil it for 5 minutes, right? And
Well,
then
that's it. Like I
yeah,
was thinking,
boil it
like
for
this is
5 minutes.
hours.
Boil it for 5 minutes. Kill it. Kill all the heat.
Okay.
Then you'll soak it. You'll soak it for 20, 30 minutes.
In cold water, that same water that was just
In the
boiling.
same water that you cooked
Okay.
in, because you're cooking in seasoned water.
Sure. Okay.
Right? You're not cooking in just bland water. You can. That's a whole nother process. That's a whole. There's multiple ways to cook crawfish.
Sure.
But the most basic and most simple way is the old school, just one pot. You put your seasoning in the water. Make sure your crawfish are clean. Cook them for 5 minutes. Kill the heat. And then let them soak for 20, 30 minutes, and then they're good to pour. They're good to pour out the pot and eat.
All right. So it doesn't take nearly as long to cook as what I was thinking.
Oh,
Like I was thinking this is a huge process. Like now, granted, the fish boil didn't take that long either, but it's a white fish you're cooking. Like that doesn't take. But I had no idea when it came to the crawfish.
Right? Yeah. No, it's the longest part that takes so long is either one, cooking the potatoes, and then number two is the soak, because you can't rush perfection. And the problem is, like, with a lot of restaurants that serve crawfish, that's why people get upset, because they're like, oh, well, it's not that good. And it's like, well, you're going to an establishment that has to crank out high volumes of a product. They're not going to have the time to soak it for 20, 30 minutes every batch.
Sure.
So yeah, if it tastes nasty at a restaurant, if you ever go try it, just know probably because it just wasn't cooked the best. But it doesn't all taste bad, I promise.
Like I know it's impossible to compare fish or anything. Like, what would you say it tasted like though? Is it got like a real fishy taste to it, or has it got
No,
like an earthy taste, or?
I mean, it's lobster maybe.
All right.
The meat consistency is kind of the same. It's kind of
very.
it's like a fluffier. It's like a fluffy meat.
All right.
I mean, if you cook it in plain water and eat it, it'll probably taste the same as if you were to cook lobster in plain water and eat
It's
it.
just a mini lobster.
Got it. Got it. Because you never know. Like I went on a sailing trip years back over in Sicily actually, and I got prawns from this restaurant on the ocean. Like yeah, they're gonna be great. And like that was one of the worst meals of my life. Like I almost threw up. I ate half of one. I'm like, I'm out. I'm done. They were horrible. Like it was mush. It was like disgusting mush. Like it was just not good.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I haven't ordered prawns. I still eat shrimp, but I've never ordered prawns again. Like it might have ruined me for life, to be honest, for them.
I'm gonna look up something real quick on my phone, on my handy dandy notebook.
Get the Google machine going.
I guess my phone turned off. Never mind. No, I was gonna see if I could actually ship crawfish up to you, because I ship crawfish around the United States. So
what? How long is your crawfishing season then?
So for me personally, I go from from Super Bowl weekend to July 4th weekend, as long as the season permits it. And what I mean by that is because we're dealing with Mother Nature and wild animals and animals in general. Whether they're still wild, even though they're farm. They're not like an actual farm, of course, which that.
You're not chopping corn out there like this stuff. This can run away from you.
Yep, they do. I mean, you'll go if they get a lot of rain. They have that joke. Why does the chicken cross the road? Well, when they get a lot of rain, everything floods up over there. It's why does the crawfish cross the road? Because you drive and just for miles you'll just see crawfish all over the road.
Interesting. Like grab a snowplow and scoop them up type of.
Yeah, like you can scoop them out the ditch. You can scoop them out the ditch and take them home. They're free for the taking.
Is that legal? Like if you
Yeah,
guys get a huge rain and like you got crawfish spilling into the ditches because everything's flooded out, like random people can just be like, get their net and just start scooping.
yeah, they can do that.
Interesting. Wasn't sure like how, so with the like in Wisconsin, let's pick on pheasant hunting because we got tons of pheasant farms, right? Like
Right.
if it's out of pheasant season and you kick up a Eurasian pheasant because it was planted by a farm in, let's say, February, if I kick that up on public land, I can't shoot it. Like, because even though it's a planted bird, it's from Europe, I can't shoot it because I'm on public. It's technically now public. Like it's not pheasant season, so I can't shoot it. If I was on the confines of that game farm, I could shoot it because that's legal. It's a game farm. But if I'm not on that game farm, even though that bird was released on the game farm, ran away, everything else, I can't shoot it because it's out of season. So I was curious, like, is your crawfish season open and people can scoop them up, or because they're like farmed crawfish, does it not matter?
Right. So there's no actual season as far as
Okay,
when you can and can't catch them. It's just it has a lot to do with the weather, and then the crawfish when their bite turns on, because it's think of crawfish farming as fishing for fish.
sure.
The bites will turn off, and the bites will turn off, or turn on and then turn off. And then like right now we're catching. We've been catching a whole bunch of crawfish right now. That now the catch is slowed down, so there's not as many crawfish being caught. And then on top of that, a lot of the bigger ones have started to go back into their home. Started to go back in the ground in their houses to do whatever they're going to do.
So do they get far less active in something? I know you go till July, you said, right?
Right.
So like after July, does like the season, like are they doing something different where you can't catch them the same anymore, or do you
So
just have other
so
things going on where you got life?
well not so it has a lot to do. So these guys that are doing the farm crawfish, right? Since it's a rice farm where they're getting it from, they also have to worry about growing the rice. So right now we're
Got it.
coming to where you got to start planning for rice, and so a lot of these guys have pulled their ponds already and drained them to get ready to plant rice and get ready for their upcoming season.
So what happened to the crawfish then? Do they like die? Do they go like
No, they just
they
they just kind of go on the ground and hang out.
got it? So they hibernate. We'll call it
Yeah,
hibernation. All right.
yeah,
Got it. Because I know like they drain rice fields and they plant rice and then they flood them again to like harvest, right? Just like
yeah.
Yes.
yep, just like cranberries in that way where they drain them and then they.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that. Well, I second guessed myself as I started talking, but I did know that. So I was curious, like with the crawfish, then, all right, so that makes sense. They drain it, start planting it, and the crawfish are like, hey, my habitat's gone. I'm going in the ground and I'm going to hang out until it gets wet again.
Yep, pretty much. But so you have that comes into it, and then also the weather. Once it starts getting too hot, you got to think that water's losing oxygen because it's you're not having good oxygenated water, so now your crawfish are weak. They're harder to keep alive. So it's just starting to be on the decline, and things just starting to going so well.
Got it. Is there a temperature thing there too? Like I'm assuming for like the wild crawfish, that would make me think that they'd come shallower and cooler water. And as that shallower water gets warmer, do they kind of slide back out deeper? Just like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. They'll go out deeper, and that's what that's so where a lot of these guys that have crawfish farms, they've some have already pulled their water and stopped farming. Some may go for another month, maybe into July, but they're slowly stopping, as it progresses. But this is where your basin guys, do so well. So a lot of the time towards the end of the season, you can only get basin crawfish. Or spillway crawfish, as some will call them, because that's the only thing available, and they're going to be the healthiest and strongest, compared to the weak ones coming out the pond that you may be able to find because of these are forced to be in hot water, so they're forced to be weak. And when that sun's out all day and there's no clouds and it's just pounding on 3 foot of water,
Oh
it's
yeah.
cooking.
Sure. And I'm assuming it's got a real dark bottom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just another thing there. I mean, I was out fishing 3 weeks ago locally, and like I was out that Saturday and the water temps were 52 degrees, but we got super hot, like it got really warm. And this was in a marsh, 2.5, 3 foot deep, super dark muck bottom. By that next weekend, I had 70-degree surface temps. And that was a week worth of like 75 and 80s with lows in the 60s. Like it was crazy with how early that hit us because that was
Right.
mid-April. But everybody's like, where are you finding 7-degree water temp? I'm like, have you ever seen how fast a marsh can warm up? Why do you think all that lives in there is carp after spring? Like
Yep.
unless you got current. If you got current, whole different ball game. But like you get a marsh without current, like it gets
Same
so
thing. Same thing with the crawfish, though. Is the current. You know, they're going to have good oxygen flow, so they're obviously going to be healthier bucks. So,
sure.
and that goes. I mean, it goes it goes hand in hand with fishing. You know, it's a mixture of farming and it's a mixture of fishing.
Got it. That's cool, man. Like I didn't know what all went into it. It's completely different. Something I've never taken part of. Never really talked to anybody who's done it before.
Yeah, if I was a little bit more prepared and didn't just come in from getting off the road, I would have had a trap ready to show you, and had a little bit more better demonstration.
Oh, that's all right. When you guys agreed to be on, we didn't even know what this episode was going to be about. Like all my
That
episodes,
Right.
is
man, they're
true.
just from the hip. Like
That
if
is
my
true.
listeners haven't figured it out yet, I don't have an outline. Like this is all like just people talking. Like there's nothing like when I say this show's like a couple guys sitting around a campfire swapping stories. It's the truth, man. There's no outlines. There's nothing. We were figuring out we were figuring out what we were going to talk about 5 minutes before we went on air here.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the fun though. Like
But
it's
that's
just
what makes it, like you said, that's what makes it fun. That's way better than doing a script.
Oh
all
yeah.
right. Like everybody gets all nervous then. And it's all like, what can I say? What can I say? Like we're gonna tell stories. Like we randomly started talking about how you had a buddy had flip his boat duck hunting. Like it doesn't matter where this goes, it just goes. That's the
It
best
just
part
goes.
about it.
Yeah, I love it, and I could talk to a wall, so I really love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they. So I mean, that's crawfish 101. It's very simple. Do y'all happen to have? Do you know if you have Southwest up there?
We've got crawfish up here. I've seen them. I know people like I had a buddy that wanted to get in to try to trap them in some of the rivers.
Right.
Um, I remember as a kid playing like trying to grab them like in the rivers by my house. Like we had a small creek, a little rocky there, little mud, like easy to like maneuver in actually. And like you'd see him scurrying, and I tried to grab him, and like I, don't know, I was a boy, like I was young, like but I've never like actually like tried to trap for him or even start like learned how. Like never
Right.
crossed my mind.
Well, and there's actually, so there's different species of crawfish. So the crawfish that you have up there are going to be completely different than what we have down here, and possibly
All
may
right,
even taste different. I don't know if I've never ate them, but it there's different subspecies. Like the main crawfish that everybody knows, and that turns the bright, beautiful red when you cook it. You know, that's a Prelumbius clarki. That's the scientific name.
okay,
And then you have white crawfish. It's called a sand, like it's a sand crawfish, which look like an Alien versus Predator. They came out the movie Alien versus Predator. Their claws are long and skinny, that look like little knives, and they're very aggressive. And they'll destroy a whole population of the your normal red crawfish,
all right. What like
your
I'm
red spot
assuming I'm
crawfish.
assuming that's like you got to manage that then because if you start to catch them in your like in your farms, it's game
Yes.
on and extinction
It,
time then.
yep. So you start catching them, you pull them right away. Um, and if I mean, I've seen guys pull all the water out their pond because they started catching them and they couldn't get rid of them, so they just drained the whole pond.
Sure, drain it, start over.
Yep.
Looks like I just pulled it up. This is from 2019. We have 8 different species of crawfish in Wisconsin.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
but
Expecting that.
we don't call them crawfish. We call them crayfish.
Crayfish,
Yeah,
yeah.
crayfish.
We got a Y, not a W. So I mean, but we've got Devil, Calico, Northern Clearwater, Rusty, Viral, White River, Red Swamp, and Prairie.
So the red swamp's gonna be probably the same one we have.
They've got the technical, like the Procomberus clarkii.
Clarkot, yeah.
Yep.
That's the main one.
So that is a non-native species here.
So yeah, so that's gonna be one of our. Somebody brought that up there from Louisiana. If you'll have it up there.
Sure. And then the Rusty, which is Orcontacetus rusticus, is also non-native.
See, and I wish I could. This is where insert picture here. No, but yeah,
we can insert. We'll start talking Wisconsin stuff here. Like, let's do that. Let me get. This is a whole guide from my DNR. So give me a second. I'll just share my screen. See if I can't get this to work. Yeah, I know I canceled screen sharing because you wouldn't let me do it. Clicking on the button, it's like, what do you want to share?
I want to share my screen with the people. I want to share my screen with the world.
All right, there we go. So what are they saying? This is the Devil. If you guys can see that. Let's see if I can't zoom in a little more. Here we go.
There we go.
That's a devil crayfish, crawfish for up by me. So that's the Devil.
Okay.
That thing looks pretty big.
It does.
It's looking like it's almost 10 inches long.
Yeah, she's thick.
All right, so let's see what we got going on here. Where's that one? That one's all over. Man, they say that one's gone by you even.
Huh.
Oh, see, it's.
Right. Here's the Calico. All right, let's find the ones you guys have so we can see what you guys are catching. That one's pretty north. That one barely in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That one likes Illinois. What we got here? What's this one? Here's the Northern Clearwater. That one's pretty light colored. I don't think it's as white as what you were talking about, Devil. Or what were you called? What'd you say that white one was?
So a sand crawfish is what we call it.
All right. Where's this guy at? Oh, that guy's in the. All right, so that's northeast. Here's the Rusty.
That's definitely up there by y'all. I've never seen one like that by here.
That one's got to be almost extinct at that point, man. That ain't got much of a range left.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, a little bit in Wisconsin, a little bit of southern Illinois and Indiana, a little bit in Ohio, but that's about it. What, Tennessee?
Next time I go to Ohio for work, I'm gonna go flip over some rocks to try to find one.
The Viral. Another northern one. Northern call it that Midwest in the plains there, and I wasn't expecting the White River one to be like blood red like this. I'll be honest. That's in millimeters. All right, that one's tiny. I thought that was 13 inches long. I'm like, man, we're talking about them. Now we're looking at lobsters here. I never seen these around. What are we talking about? So well, that one goes all the way down by you.
So that one right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine the sand crawfish I'm talking about is like that, but white. But you see how if you scroll down to his claws, how they kind of look like a scimitar or like a little dagger.
Sure.
They're gonna be long and narrow. Where if you go to the red swamp crawfish,
right here,
they're gonna be more short and fat.
All right. Like, is there any meat in the claw? Like, looking at
this
one.
Yes, there is.
All right. And look,
there is.
This is the red swamp right here. So this is what you're mainly harvesting then.
Yes,
All right.
but
Got kind of that
you
chunky
you
claws, and all right.
you can get some that are blue.
Okay.
Um, and I mean, you'll get some that'll be that color. You'll get some that are more red than that. You'll get some that are red like the White River that it showed.
Some that almost looks like the calico.
That one, I don't even know what that one is.
This one is a prairie.
Hmm.
Oh,
Interesting.
There was a
that's what.
report that they released this past year that there is some Australian, I believe it was Australian, uh, crawfish found in South America or something like, or not, sorry, in South Texas. Somebody found Australian crawfish in South Texas.
Interesting.
So
So the red swamp has only been found in 2 stormwater ponds in southeast Wisconsin. So, I mean, we got a lot of drainage retention ponds, so it's only been found in 2. So
but
it's
see,
very.
I wonder if your DNR is against shipping them live up there, because some, like Colorado, you can't ship live crawfish into Colorado.
I think New York's the same way.
It wouldn't surprise me, especially if they're saying this is non-native and they're watching exactly what ponds they're in. I bet
Yeah,
I wouldn't be if they might have allowed it at one point, but they might not anymore.
because they say they're invasive. So
Sure. Yeah, if anything they call non-native here, they definitely say it's invasive. Like that's an invasive species for us. And we're working to eradicate it. It specifically says the red swamp crayfish has been found in 3 stormwater ponds in southeastern Wisconsin in recent years, where efforts have been made to eradicate it.
yeah, I don't think I'm shipping you crawfish.
You have to wait until you get here.
You just gotta wait till you come down.
I've got rusty though. I've got these rusty ones. Maybe I'll have to figure out how to go find them.
I mean, I would assume go into little creeks, and just flip over big rocks, and I think you'll probably be able to find some.
Simplified Wisconsin. Oh, this is the key. I don't even know what the season is on this. I'm like everything. I'm sure there's a season, an actual season. Let's see. You got me curious now, man. I got enough irons in the fire. I don't need another hobby. This is getting out of control already. May 1st to March 1st. What?
What?
That's a,
May
it says
1st.
except.
So you
That ain't
can't
right.
catch
That's
them.
saying
So April's the only month you can't catch them in, I guess.
says except for Wisconsin, Minnesota boundary waters, where the season is open from May 1st to March 1st. Both dates inclusive. There is no bag limit or size limit for crayfish. So maybe it's open year round. It's not real. This isn't a DNR website though.
It's not. It's not. I don't think it's really popular up there. I could be wrong, but
I know people do it. Like I've had buddies talk about wanting to get into it. I don't know if they ever did. Yeah. Interesting.
maybe
I didn't
they
realize
were trying
that
to start their own.
6
Maybe your
native
buddies were
species.
trying to start their own farms, and that's what happened.
Uh, no, he was talking. He was talking about he was talking about buying the traps and getting out there and getting after it is what he was talking about doing.
Heck yeah, I bet you that would. And I'm curious, because if you're catching them in a beautiful stream with fresh running water over them, I bet you they'll taste amazing, and they'll be so
Sure.
clean compared to what we get that comes out of nasty mud and swamp.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
So it might be better tasting.
I'd hate to
It
compare
might
it
be
like a
better
diver
tasting.
duck versus a puddler.
Yeah. Now you got me wondering. When are we going up there to go catch crawfish, Jacob?
Sure. Not in the winter.
We can't go. We can't go in April. It said April's not allowed. It says May 1st to March 1st. Right. So no March into
That's
April.
on. That was on the Minnesota-Wisconsin boundary water. So like on the waters that span between both states. I'm still trying to find the actual season dates for everywhere. I'll have to dig more into that. The DNR website can be kind of tricky sometimes.
No, and then it's fun. It's fun because you get to meet a lot of people selling crawfish.
Sure.
It's
And you're selling them all over the country.
I sell I sell it all over the country, and I sell to several restaurants and then to the general public as well. And then I do caterings, so I'll cater some events, and then I'll do what I call a cooler special, where for X amount of dollars I cook a whole sack with corn and potatoes, and you just come with your cooler and I dump it right into your cooler and you take it home and enjoy it. So you don't even have to mess with it besides cleaning your cooler out when you're done.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to do it. I mean, you're like, that's one step away from Grubhub.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. I do front door delivery service with the live product.
Here we go.
So I got a guy, and he has a Kia Soul, and that's what we use. And we load it down. We load his Kia Soul down, and he just zips around town doing front door deliveries, door dashing crawfish basically. And he'll take the crawfish, the shrimp, the alligator, the seasoning, pretty much whatever they get from me. Because I try to be a one-stop shop the best that I can.
Makes sense. I mean, makes sense. Trying to make that.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it makes sense trying to be that one-stop shop. That way there, I mean, guy can get that live stuff from you. You can pre-cook. Like,
yeah. I mean, for instance, so it's Cinco de Mayo this, Friday, right? So I'm running a Cinco de Mayo special. And for $125, you get a sack of crawfish. You get 4 pounds of easy peel shrimp. You get a pack, which is 3 links of alligator sausage. And you get 5 pounds of seasoning. So pretty much everything you need to cook, minus the pot, the water, and the propane.
okay.
For $125. All of that.
That's awesome. That's a whole meal right there.
Yeah.
That's not a meal for one.
No.
How many would that feed? What are you talking? 4 people, 6 people?
So sack, let's say 30-pound sack. I'd say anywhere from 6 to 10 people, depending on who's eating.
All right. So more than
4 pounds of shrimp.
And then on top of that, you have 4 pounds of shrimp, So
plus sausage.
So I'd say that deal, if you were to use everything, I'd say you'd feed 8 to 10 people, no problem. And then once you throw in corn and potatoes, you're really gonna,
sure,
you're really gonna be full. And that's what everybody gets full off of anyways when eating crawfish. It's not the crawfish itself. It's the corn and potatoes. It's the fillers that gets everybody full.
No, that makes sense. That's like with a lot of things, right? Like when you're eating, like there's not much meat on those crawfish. So I mean, it's gonna be everything else like you get full on. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, well, I'll have to try to ship you some alligator sausage up there. I think you'll probably fall in love with it.
I'm just gonna get down by you guys. We're gonna go down there on the coast. We're gonna check out what that coastal waterfowl hunting's all about. Try to get down there in January.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a good time for sure.
Oh, yeah. And we're not gonna fall in. We're not falling in.
No, we'll stay dry. We'll stay dry.
Yeah. We won't. No kayaks. Well, y'all can bring y'all's kayaks, but me, I'm trying to stay dry.
I'll probably have my kayak in tow, but like I will not turn down a ride in your big boat just to make life easy. Like don't get me wrong. Like I know Dusty's in that area, so maybe I'll hit him up for some redfish. Like I'll go slide over by him for a little bit, go chase reds and kayaks with him. My kayak might get used for that, but when it comes to the duck hunting side of it, you got a big boat. I'm jumping in a big boat. I'm not that way. I got a big boat. There's a reason I own a big boat too.
Yeah.
That's right.
Then Matt Murphy, he's going to try to come and hunt with us. You had him on your show too.
I did.
Yeah, so we were talking about getting together and do a hunt when you get here. So
That'll be fun.
do a hunt up here on our side and go down to his side.
So continuous open season in Wisconsin. I finally found it.
Okay.
Except for the Minnesota-Wisconsin boundary waters, which is May 1st to the following March 1st. So it's closed for March and April.
I wonder why it's closed for those 2 months.
Spawn? Do they spawn when the water's real cold like that?
I don't know that breed up there.
Right. You can't have live crayfish and angling equipment on you at the same time, except on a couple of water bodies. Because I don't think you're allowed. Only a handful of water bodies you're allowed to use them for live bait. Otherwise, they have to be dead, from what I read somewhere else. Have to have a valid fishing license. Crawfish traps in a trout stream must be the dimensions of a minnow trap. You can use scoops. Can't exceed 4 feet in length, 3 feet in width, and 18 inches deep. Can take by hand by use of minnow dip nets. And it looks like you can use traps, and then minnow traps can be used. So it looks like we got quite a few options up here.
Then you might have a decent amount. I don't see why they'd. I don't see why somebody write the rules on it if there wasn't enough for somebody to do it.
Right. I'll have to check into that maybe a little bit more. See if I don't know anybody getting down on this. I'm not going to jump headfirst into it, but if I can find someone around here doing it to get me some fresh ones from around here, though.
Right.
See what they at least see what they taste like.
Next time we talk to him, he's going to be all about catching crawfish.
You're gonna see me on Instagram. My whole front of my boat's gonna be filled with traps, and you're gonna be like,
exactly.
"What the hell happened to him?"
Exactly. And I can hear your wife now.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh man, I can see it too.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because I can definitely see you doing it. Yep, another hobby.
Another hobby.
Fun though.
And you were telling me when we went out to eat, y'all are not allowed to shoot bobcats, right, up there?
We can shoot bobcats. We got a season, but you have to apply for your tag.
Yeah.
And you got to apply for your tag, and I want to say it's taking 5 to 7 years right now.
Yeah.
To get a tag.
Bobcat tag.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
Ask me how many bobcat tags that I had to apply for here.
Are they like a wild? They're like a free for all down by you, aren't they?
Yeah.
You
You don't have tags.
It's just like pig hunting down here.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Not by it takes years to get your tag, and it's a big deal when you get one. And I've had one on camp.
How do you have to hunt them? Is there certain ways that you're allowed to hunt them?
I know a lot of people use dogs. A lot of guys up here, they'll chase bear with dogs. They'll also run bobcats with their dogs. I know people try to call them. Calling is legal as well, and then trapping.
So but are you allowed to night hunt them?
Yes.
Like with thermals and whatnot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh boy, can you? I don't want to say yes or no on that because I haven't pulled my tag yet. I know you were allowed to night hunt coyote, fox, unprotected species. I'm not sure on bobcat. I know in Michigan, if I remember right, you can't hunt bobcat at night. It's closed at night. I'm not sure in Wisconsin to be 100% though.
Which is crazy because that's going to be your better odds of getting one.
Right.
We're going to have to mark some stuff off his bucket list.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
We're going to have to take you on a thermal hunt while you're here.
We'll take the thermals and suppressors out and go have fun.
I don't have the suppressor, but I do have night vision and thermal for the coyotes around here. So that's a good time. That is definitely a good time.
We'll go scan fields with side-by-sides or just in the pickup truck and go scan all the fields we have access to and get pigs or coyotes, bobcats, foxes, pretty much anything that's not supposed to be there that ruins my ducks. They gotta go.
So looking real quick, electronic calls are legal. Decoys are legal. Suppressors are legal. Night hunting bobcats in Wisconsin is not permitted.
Well, looks like you got to come to Texas for that one.
Looks like I do. That's why I didn't want to speak on it because I didn't know for sure. I knew it wasn't legal in Michigan because I've got a good friend over there that does a ton of night hunting. He's on the Pulsar team. Like
Oh, that's
guy
awesome.
just guy he stacks coyotes. Like I had him on the show, Chris. Like he's probably he's the best predator on our eye. Like when it comes to like calling and like bringing them in, like he's got it going on, like for sure. And I know he was complaining because he's like, I want to do this at night. Doing this during the day is crap.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, though. Like a lot of guys up north, because I watch the videos, and a lot of the coyote hunting is done, either in the morning or that, like during the day, And for us down here, most all our predator hunting is done at night. We really don't sit in, in the morning time or during the day and call and have them come in.
I would say most in Wisconsin, like I guess there's two, like I know a ton of guys here that are doing it all at night now. Thermals, night vision, all of that. We've got some kind of goofy laws when it comes to using lights at night. Like you can't use lights to scan, and a night vision infrared light is technically considered a light, so you can't use night vision to scan. So like I have not, but you can use night vision to identify your target and then take your shot. So because I didn't want to go too crazy and jump like off the deep wagon for another hobby I have, I'm
Right.
running a night vision on my rifle, but then I'm running a thermal handheld for scanning.
So that's exactly before you said that I was gonna recommend that. I love to do that. Don't get me wrong, I have the thermal scopes and everything, but just having a little thermal monocular to scan with is so much quicker.
Sure.
You can scan so much faster.
That thing gets a work. That thing's gotten a workout. I've used it for so many random things. I used it to find my deer. I didn't need to, but I just wanted to see if it would work
Like,
when I shot my
why not?
yeah. I'm like, okay, it worked awesome. I'm like this is sweet. This is cool. I've
I
used it
didn't
to
think
find.
about that.
We're gonna take it out this fall grouse hunting. My buddy might be without a dog for a year or two just because the way the kids are falling and everything else. We're gonna see before the dog. We're gonna see if the thermal can't pick up a bird. Like that's our biggest thing with grouse. Like hunting over a dog is what I enjoy. Like it's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. But like I wouldn't hunt grouse without a dog because I'm not sure I could find the bird. So we're gonna see if thermal changes that.
Well, I know I can pick up in an open field. I can pick up the little birds
Sure.
with the thermal.
So
So but I don't know about on the monocular.
yeah, we're gonna find out. Just some different kind of fun things to play with it.
That's fun. Yeah. No, we're definitely going to have some fun when you come down. We'll do some duck hunting and go shoot some pigs. Maybe get you a bobcat. Maybe get you ahead of the wait list.
Yeah,
Let you cut in line.
I'm game for that. Don't get me wrong. Like that's not like that sounds like a good time. I've started to think about seeing what's involved in like trying to get a lion tag out in like Idaho.
That would be so much
That
fun.
would be that. Man, that to me is crazy. Going after those big cats with dogs and hounds.
Uh-huh. I had a guy in my show. That's what he does. Like, and the amount of miles he cuts through them mountains, like insane. The miles they're putting on, like, and I want to get out there. Like, even if I can't get a tag, I want to get out there just to experience watching his dogs run.
Yeah.
Not that you get to see them much, but like you can hear them. And then when you get there, like to have them have like a big lion treat, that'd be cool to see.
Could you imagine just having a big cat in front of you, like in a tree?
No, no, I don't know how we get. I don't know how we leave. Like that's my
Yeah.
problem. Like I ain't gonna turn around and walk. I'm gonna walk backwards for half a mile.
Well,
Make
and
sure it
that's
ain't
the thing.
following
Like
me.
on that, what was that show? There was a show where they did a lot of that on with the ranchers or the farmers or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? There was a TV show on Discovery or History, and they had a couple guys in there that would chase the they'd go hunt them down with their dogs and chase them off from messing with their cattle and stuff. There's
I
like,
don't know.
there's it was ranches all over.
Yeah.
Babe, you know what I'm talking about or no? Where you was like a farm show or a ranch show where like these guys, Mountain Men's the name of the show.
All right.
So on the show Mountain Men, a couple of the, they have these guys that'll go, scare these cats out. So they scare them out the area. They'll train them and scare them out. But what's crazy is they don't kill them. They put them up in a tree, and then they just leave afterwards. They go, they scoot it, I guess shoo it away. I don't know.
I've heard of farmers shooing things away, but normally like they shoo it away with a shotgun.
Right.
I shoot it away. What do you mean you shoot it away? I shoot it away with a shotgun. Got it.
That reminds me of the time one of my buddies stepped on an alligator's back down in the marsh.
You don't expect me to get out of the boat.
He shooted it away. He shot it away all right. That's the fastest I've seen him shoot a gun. That's the fastest I've seen him move, and that was the fastest I've seen him reload a shotgun and put another 3 rounds in it.
And you expect me to get out of the boat or use a kayak?
Man. Well, this was early season. Well, no, it was later in the season, but it was warm enough out. We were down in the marsh, and luckily the game, we were at a wildlife management area. So after it happened, we pulled the gator out of the water, and let the game wardens up at the front gate know, and they're like, well, what the heck? Well, it came alive, stepped on it back and it whipped around to bite them. What do you want us to do? Run?
Sure.
We're in the water with the thing.
So I'm assuming like at the end of the day, nothing happened. Like,
yeah, nothing happened. They took all our names and numbers down and said, hey, we'll get with you if we have any issues. And,
sure.
We were, but we were up front with them and, told them what the deal was. And they were understanding.
Makes sense. They're not out there hunting them, but when you stepped on one back and and all of a sudden it wants to eat you. I mean, that's like the South Park episode. They're coming right for us.
Yep. It was, that was a crazy. And that hunt though, the hunt itself was a phenomenal day of hunting.
Is that because you had a dead gator laying next to you?
No, I didn't take no pictures. I wasn't, because if I had taken a picture, they had said, hey, you did it on purpose to take a picture.
Right.
So, but I think that day we ended up with the 5 or 6 man limit of ducks.
Nice.
I wish I could have got the gator in the picture with the ducks. That would have been cool.
Well, you're right. That's exactly what would have happened. They would have found a picture. Like all of a sudden now you got pictures out there, used it for self-promotion, and things changed.
Yep. They're like, oh yeah, no. So we said it was okay until now we see what you did here, and now it looks like you did it on purpose.
Right. And being a guide, being a guide changes everything. Like you gotta you always I don't do anything illegal anyways, but because I have my guide license now, it's like the last thing I want to do. Like it was never I wanted to do to begin with, but now I feel like I have to be even more of a steward of the laws. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I hold myself to even a higher level now.
You have to. Because not only, but it's also because you got to set an example. You got to set an example for everybody. Because a lot of this younger generation of hunters that are coming in, or we'll just say sportsmen in general, they a lot of them aren't taught. They're taught through Facebook or YouTube. It's not like their grandpa or their dad taught them, and like a lot of us have learned. A lot of it now they're doing it because it's cool. A lot of people that used to not think about fishing. Oh, well, it's cool to fish now, so we want to do it.
Yeah, the YouTube has changed things. I agree. I feel like there's more people going out just to make videos than they are I feel like they're missing the entire experience just to record footage for their channel.
Right. I mean, there was a dude, and there was a video I watched the other day. A dude was fishing and caught a big old bass. He ran in the water with the shoes on and everything to bring the bass out. Instead of just reeling and just keep on fighting and reeling it. No, he ran into the water to make sure it wasn't coming off the hook.
That's crazy.
And we're talking about tennis and like nice, expensive tennis shoes. Not like it was Crocs and water
Sure.
shoes.
Sure.
He was wearing $100 pair of shoes. Ran in the water.
Just for some views.
Yeah.
It's
a big fish, don't get me wrong, and it might have been his first bass. I don't know.
Sure.
But that's still.
I mean, if I showed you guys the video of me catching my PB, you'd be laughing at me because I was screaming to my wife like a schoolgirl to get over here and take a picture. I was so excited.
What it weigh in at?
7 pounds, 7 ounces.
And we're gonna have. That's another thing we might have to try is beat that.
I know you got some big fish down there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we can go put you on some 5-foot alligator gar.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7 footers.
We talking hook and line, or are we going to start shooting them with a bow?
No, hook and line.
Hook and line. All right.
So
I was joking with my wife because I'm like, I'm sick of Wisconsin winters. I want to change it up, and I'm like, you can stay here because you love the snow. Like, I'm going to go to Texas for January. I was seriously like, before I even talked to you guys, I'm like, I'm going to go to Texas for January. Then I know some guys in Arizona, so I was going to head to Arizona in February and chase wild quail. And I'm like, well, I'm already south, so I might as well head to Florida in March.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can keep that house warm up there. You'll be fine. Come fly down. Come visit me.
Exactly.
Because y'all are both remote now, aren't y'all? Or she's got it.
She is 95%. Yeah. I'm 100% though. As long as I got internet, I can do my job.
Yeah. That's nice.
That's nice because you can do your job out of the boat with hotspot.
Problem is, like, my job, 75% of my day is in team meetings, and I would say in 30% of those I'm actually presenting, and we use cameras, so like they're gonna know.
Well,
they're gonna know.
We'll just have a big green screen. We'll just bring a green screen,
Be like that guy that's got that green screen.
Yes. Yes. It'll be just like that. What was that noise? Oh, they're working on my roof.
I sound like a duck quacking. Man, I don't know. I'm like, got some kid playing a clarinet. I don't know.
Right. I got pet ducks at the house. What do you mean? Y'all know this, guys.
I'm staying at a farm. Like, I mean, we got some pet ducks here. I'm learning how to call better. Like, it's research. It's a whole science experiment.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
We'll have to get into some of that.
Yeah, we'll have to get into a lot of that.
That'll be a good time.
I don't know how long you're planning on coming and staying, but
figure it out as that gets closer. That's for sure. But I'm serious. But I jokingly talked to the wife, but I'm seriously half tempted to dragging the camper down south in January, staying in Texas for an extended time, and moving to Arizona for an extended time for wild quail, because I'd like to grab a quail slam over there too.
Yeah.
Go chase some of them low country birds over there and get full of cacti, because I haven't experienced that yet, so I might as well experience that too.
Let me I'll check the season on our wild quail here. I may be able to go put us on some wild quail too here.
All right.
Some bob whites.
All right.
And and the nice part is to say, hey, I went to Texas and shot wild bob whites, not farm raised, or pen raised bob whites.
Sure.
Or I didn't hunt the rock. What are they? The rock quail or the blue roan or something like that quail. I'm not much on quail, but I've been told by people that there's a rock quail, and they chase them around. They don't fly. They just run.
Interesting.
So
interesting. Yeah, I'll definitely stay in touch. We're going to make something happen, get down to Texas there. I want to check out that coastal hunting, and then there's so much more, like between pigs, bobcats, alligator gar, crayfish boil. It'll be a good time.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a real good time.
It's not crayfish. It's crawfish.
Got that Wisconsin coming out of me.
Yep.
Okay. It's okay. I still got to come up there I gotta still make a trip up there to go to what's that place called? Why can't I think of the name of it now? The Hinterlands.
The what?
The Hinterlands.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like tip top north of, I believe, Wisconsin. I think.
Hinterland is the German word meaning land behind. Hinterlands. There's a brewery called Hinterland.
I don't know. Maybe that's just what he'd always. I have a lawyer that lives up there, and he'd always tell me he's going up to the Hinterlands. You know.
The only thing I can think of that it would be, and I can't think of what it's called. Maybe I found it. Come on. I should know this. I know the guy that manages this entire organization. Are you thinking about the Barrens?
No.
Okay,
No.
because we have a very unique habitat in northwest Wisconsin called the Barrens. But I think I've heard hinterland used for other things, like almost in a way of like the motherland and something, and like in other ways like that too, though.
Right. Let's see. I'm going on Jacob's tablet real quick to see. Cause so he lives out by Thiensville, or however you say that.
You got it. That was right.
But basically, he always says
Highlands.
And then, well, he's saying they're in the North Country Highlands.
I mean, he's not far outside the city. I mean, I know exactly where he's at.
Right. So, but he goes north from there up into the Upper Peninsula.
Okay.
And that's where you're at too, right? You go up there to hunt.
I do go up. I go up there for grouse. I do about a week up there for grouse in the fall.
So he's big on grouse, and he has a cabin up there.
All right.
And he'll, and I don't know how y'all streams or creeks are, but he sent me a picture several times. He passes one called Mallard Creek or Mallard Run or something like that. I don't know.
How many Mallard Creeks we probably have in Wisconsin? We know how many Mallard Creeks we probably have.
Right. That's what I figured. I mean, he said there's so much water up there, though. I mean, he said there's there. You can go there every day and not touch every inch of water.
Oh, for sure.
Is what he told me.
But I mean, I feel like I looked it up once, and there's enough different fishable bodies of water just in my county alone. I don't think I could do it all in a year.
Wow. That's crazy.
Trying to see. And it doesn't.
So I'm guessing like the secondary meaning of hinterland is an area lying beyond what is visible or known. I'm guessing he just calls his place up north the hinterland.
That's exactly what he does. I mean, that makes. I mean, that I would not expect anything less from a lawyer.
So I'm guessing he's just calling it the hinterland. That makes sense. And I think I've heard it used in that way before also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get down there. You guys ever want to come up here, you're always welcome. We'll chase whatever season.
He's I guess up there by him, because he tells me all the time how they have he has to take his like his Willie, because of how far he is back there. He has to have like rugged vehicles and stuff to go down some of those logging roads and everything.
Some of them logging roads are ridiculous. Like some of them are not maintained. Like they are old logging roads, like old forest roads that they haven't logged in 20 years, and no one's maintained the road because it was only cut into log an area. So they start to grow over and they get rutted out and no one fixes it. So, I mean, I have everything to self-recover in my truck for where I go up there. Like there's no, like you ain't getting help.
That's crazy.
You better know how to.
And do you have service? Like, do you have cell signal, or you
Not
kind of have?
always. Like some of the areas I hunt have cell signal. A lot of them don't. A lot of them just dead zone.
Oh, so it's you and you're it. So you're walking everything before you even think about driving it.
No, I just send it.
I love it.
I mean, if I get stuck and I haven't aired down yet or anything like that, like worst case scenarios, I'm going to get muddy and I'm going to air down. I've got traction boards, I've got straps, D-links that come along. Like if I got stuck, like just in regular highway mode, I should be able to get myself out by airing down and using the equipment I have.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. I won't air down to get somewhere. Like I won't go like that. Like if I have to air down to get somewhere, I'm not, unless there's another vehicle with me, I'm not doing it. Because at that
Right.
point, now you're really in trouble.
That is, yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good. I'd rather play with the alligators than have to be stranded.
Yeah, I've thought about it. Like in the back of my mind, I keep thinking about grabbing like an InReach Explorer or something like that, so I could always send an SOS.
Get you a flare gun.
I got one of them in the truck. But honestly, like even when you get like way far back, you're normally not like I can get way far back up there and I'm still not necessarily all that far away from some random, like, because you can camp on that national forest upland up there. I run into campers all the time. I mean, there's
Okay.
logging trucks going around up there. I mean, even if like you get off the main logging road and you go down this crazy road, I mean, you're not 100 miles back into anything. You're 2 miles back in, maybe at most, maybe only a mile and a half. Like, it's not the end of the world to walk back to like the main logging road. Like, you might be waiting on someone for a hot minute, but it's not like you're so far back in there, no one's ever going to find you.
Have you put a winch on your truck yet?
I have not. I've not. I haven't. I've got to come along, and I've never like. I have traction boards. I've got to come along with the way I drive and like how safe I actually do. I haven't needed either. So like to me, I just really don't see the need for a winch because I've never even needed my traction boards, let
Okay.
alone like my
That's fair.
like my come along or anything like that. I figure I start putting dumb stuff like that on there, I'm going to wind up needing it because I'm just going to push that much harder.
That's true. That's
So if I
very
just
true.
pull over once it starts to get gnarly, and then we just put boots on the ground and walk in, is what we do.
Okay. So are you in any like grouse hunting clubs or anything?
No, all public land, no clubs. I mean, I'm part of the like I pay a membership to the Rough Grouse Society, but that's just a nonprofit that advocates for healthy forest and timber and cutting and like logging and
But
management
do
plans.
they put on events? The
They do. They do.
okay.
So they put on like banquets to raise money. They're like, it's like Pheasants Forever or Ducks Unlimited, right? Like they're not holding like hunts or anything like that, but it's for conservation. They're raising money to like help like the DNR, like the Wisconsin DNR help. They've got land conservation people. They've got people with management degrees and they help the state. So I try to help advocate for the hunters to create a good management plan where like logging's going to be beneficial for all species.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I have. Like I said, I've never done the grouse thing, but a lot of guys like it. A lot. I mean, there's a lot of y'all up north that just love it, and so one day I'm gonna go try it.
You're always welcome to come join me. I'll do my best to get you on birds. You might shoot a lot of trees.
Yeah, yeah, it's close quarters there.
Yeah.
Those for grouse hunting. Oh yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to shoot a tree. Like if you wait for
Yeah.
the perfect shot, you ain't gonna have many.
Mm-hmm.
They fly fast, and like the way they're like little mini fighter jets between those trees. They're just like I can't
That's
count the number of
Feel
pine trees.
1,000.
so it's like shooting teal in the timber.
Little faster.
Yeah, yeah, but faster and a rise, and they're not coming towards you. They're flying away from
Get
you in the most
flying away
defense
from,
in
Yeah.
the most defensive pattern you can imagine.
and then finding them, like you said, finding them's hard.
Yep. That's why I personally for me like I can't see doing it without a dog because I hate losing a bird. Like that really kills me inside. Like I don't like shooting something, watching it go down and not finding it. So
Right.
I've lost a couple with a dog even. Like it just like she couldn't find it. Like my lab was better than my Griff. I'll say that. Like but I really did a lot when I rescued her at 6, and I just never got into the dead bird search with her. Like we just never really got to that point of training that I wanted to with her. So that's on me, not on her. But I did a lot of that with my lab, and I always trusted he'd find my birds. But like I've lost a couple like throughout the years. I mean, it happens, and it's just like it kills me. Like it like ruins my day, like losing a single bird. And like I know it
Yeah.
doesn't affect all people like that, but for me it does.
Well, because I mean, it's challenging from what I've been told. Um, from what I've been told from from my guy up there is, I mean, he said you may go out all day and maybe only shoot three. If and three's a good day.
Three's a good day. Three's a
You
real good
know,
day. I mean, when I
it,
first started, there was a couple seasons where I maybe only shot 3 all season,
yeah,
when I was still trying to figure it out. And I'm
that's
still trying to
crazy.
figure it out.
Yeah, he does. He sent me some stuff. I guess, I don't know. Again, I'm not up there, but I guess they do with the grouse. They do a deal with kilts or something. One of the deals he's on where they wear, everybody there wears kilts to the event. I don't know. Cool.
I've never heard of that. It wouldn't surprise me. It could be like a group of his friends that started doing it. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you this. I don't walk logging trails. Like I'm deep in the bush in different places I hunt. You'd have like you'd have scars. Like I wear upland pants for a reason. Like they're
Right.
like there's no way I'm wearing a kilt. Like I'd have
No, no,
like my
no.
legs.
They're not hunting in kilts.
Oh, all right.
They're wearing the kilts to I guess one of the banquets.
Interesting.
I guess they wear to one of the banquets for
Rough House
grouse.
Society. All right.
So yeah, he's really big in. I mean, he's really big into grouse hunting. Like I don't know. I guess I'd say he's as big into it as I am duck hunting.
That's awesome. That is all. We'll have to get you up here so you can check it out.
Yeah, no, that'll be fun.
It's a good
That's
time. It's a real good time. Well, I'll
all
give
right.
you a couple minutes here. Why don't you let everyone out there listening know how they can get a hold of you if they want to see if they can't get some fresh crawfish shipped over to their state?
All right, so you can always shoot me a text or give me a call at 281-702-9025. We're on Facebook. You can look us up at Louisiana Cuisine. We have multiple locations. We have a Dallas location, a Hallettsville location, a Tomball location, and a Abilene location. So we're all over Texas. Um, Facebook, you can find us on. It's that simple.
Perfect. And everyone listening, I'll make sure all that's linked in the description for the show. Make it real nice and easy to find them on Facebook. Get a text over to them and see if you can't get some of that fresh crawfish to your state so you can see what that boil's all about. Do one at your house.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you guys coming on tonight. It's been fun chatting crawfish, not crayfish, crawfish. I got it now. It's been fun
Hey,
chatting about
everybody up
that.
there is going to be on your butt because you're going to be like, no, it's crayfish.
But what the hell's a crawfish?
You know, they crawl. They crawl backwards. It's a crawfish.
That's
You
it.
just remove the L.
The crawfish. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Well, appreciate you guys coming on tonight. It's been fun chatting.
Always, it's always a good time.
To all my listeners out there, thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, keep chasing that experience.